written for Thanksgiving. In 1850, James Lord Pierpont wrote the song.
Oh, yeah, that guy. I remember him.
One Horse Open Sleigh for his church's Thanksgiving concert. Then about 7 years later, it was re-released under the title of Jingle Bells. Remains one of the most popular Christmas songs.
All right, that's actually kind of mean. Does it feel better now?
Yeah, I do. Okay, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer first appeared in 1939 when what department store asked one of its copywriters to create a Christmas story for kids that the store could use as a promotion? First appeared in 1939 because what department store had someone illustrate a Christmas story for a promotion?
I would say Macy's, but I feel like they weren't around then, so I want to go like back to like a Ward's or something, like an older store. Give me a...
Congratulations, you got that one right. Montgomery Ward.
Oh, like I really pulled that one.
You did. I have the buzzer ready to go.
See, I'm batting 500 here.
All right, I got one more for you.
Okay.
Santa Claus. He actually had a pretty spooky look until 1931 when what company hired an illustrator to depict the jolly old elf for print ads?
What company? I don't know. I feel like Norman Rockwell made him look better, but I don't know what company that would be. Company for print ads. I don't know. Some old drugstore or something is where I'd go with.
Sort of kind of not really if you think about how Coca-Cola started.
Oh,
As
nice.
something to help people because of the ingredients. They wanted to sell more Coca-Cola in 1931. And that's the Santa Claus that we all have in our minds today as a visual. So, Merry Christmas, and you did pretty good there. The Montgomery Ward, I'm very impressed at that.
No, I'm not as uninformed as you think.
Well, let's get back to the topics you know all too well about. I am trying to learn more by doing this radio show with you, and I'm not sure if today. If you ever want to catch up on the topic or reach out and maybe just ask a question and suggest a topic we cover, if you go to guardingyournestegg.com, you can link over to our podcast, you can reach out to the team, request a comprehensive financial plan, or you can just search for Guarding Your Nest Egg on your favorite podcast platform, or call and set up a time to get those answers. 916-545-6000. 916-545-6000. To meet our entire team if you visit guardingyournestegg.com. Very personal question, Mike. Do you like Post-its?
What are we going back to 3N Corporation and this little sticky glue that doesn't really stick back in...
What do you mean back to? I still use Post-its all the time. I can't find anything.
Isn't there an app on your phone that'll take care of that these days? You know what? I used a Post-it the other day. Sitting in the office and I had something very specific that I wanted my assistant to do. And there was a Post-it that I had been using forever, and I wrote a note and backed up it to her computer screen so that when she came in the next day, it would be front of mine. So yes, I use them, but not very often.
I use them all day because, you know, we hear a lot of different things with media, and I have to remember to get this to this person and whatnot, and I like to write things down. There's something about writing it down that I'll pay a little more attention or maybe do it with intent, and it's not just me. Psychology professors at the Dominican University in California, never heard of that. That's very cool. They did a study on goal setting and found that you're 42% more likely to achieve your goals if you write them down. So it made me think about the written financial plan that you and our team create for people. I mean, it's not on a Post-it, right?
It would not fit on a Post-it. It fit on a microchip somewhere, but then you can pull it up on your computer. So yeah, I get it.
Having things written down, to me, you do them with intent. You know, it's a focus, it's a goal, it's a change in your mind shift a lot of times. And I was just wondering if when you put together a comprehensive financial plan and you present someone with a written plan for their retirement, how does that or does that not change things, it being written down for them?
First of all, being written down, and also a lot of times it's printed out. And then there's just something about that physical element of having a plan. And it could be, I mean, even if it's on a computer screen, it's still there, right? I mean, here it is, but It's still a document, you still open it. I think that does make sense. So in the office, I don't just type away on a computer, right, when I'm talking to somebody and just put all the notes in. First of all, it's very impersonal, like you're in a courtroom, just dictating information.
Where are we going tonight, January 6th?
Yeah, exactly. This is like an interrogation. I still use legal pads. I still...
You do? I've started an appointment and seen it.
Yeah, just write everything down. Then I'll take all that information, and I'll go back to the computer, and obviously, we're using computers for the majority of what we do right now, but I do think if you actually take the time to gather, I think it's back to gathering your thoughts. Like, so gathering your thoughts, writing them down. What are your goals? Goals could be almost anything, and they're unique for everyone. Retiring is a very common goal that people have. But people's plans in retirement or the lifestyle in retirement can be very, very different depending on who you are and what your lifestyle has been. And
that's the uniqueness part.
Exactly. And it is very, very unique for each individual. But what I found after going on 3 decades of doing this and helping people retire successfully is gathering their thoughts, putting them down on paper, even if it's not physical paper, and coming up with a plan that walks you through those steps, meaning how do you transition into year 1 of retirement? I mean, that's the conversation the other day with someone, and she was telling me that, I retired 4 months ago. I said, well, how's that adjustment been? What's it been like for you? And I already knew the answer because I've talked to so many people. She said, it was more difficult than I thought it would be. I mean, I had a lifestyle where I woke up and I got ready for work, and I went to work, and I did my job, and I got paid. I took that money, and I covered my expenses. I didn't really worry about health care because it was a part of that employment. And then I made this transition, and all of that ended. And I had to figure out not just what to do with my money and my insurance, what am I going to do with my time? And she admitted, even after 4 months, it's still taking a little time to get it together.
Heard a family member the other day talking to a friend about a similar mindset. Retirement, everybody talks about it being a big, great thing, and yeah, I've got grandkids and stuff, but I don't know if friend groups are working anymore either. And that's going to be a big loss.
The water cooler talk, right? So I guess you could put a water cooler in your home. That's retirement gift. But nobody would show up.
Just your spouse and some grandkids, maybe.
And your cat or your dog or something. That's interesting, yeah.
But there's so much to retirement that it's more than dollars and cents is what we're getting at here, and writing things down, having goals. But it's more important than just the goals to have the plan written down so that one can achieve those goals and what you're
Yeah, it's providing clarity. So I just mentioned that first year of retirement, just from a transition phase, is probably the most difficult because, again, you're trying to figure out mostly what to do with your time. You've got all these ideas about it, but you haven't actually done it yet, so it's very new and you're figuring it out. But then also there's the money factor. So what I love about goals-oriented financial planning, meaning, and also getting it written down, having a written financial plan, means we actually take it step by step. So this is what the early years look like. This is what the late years look like. These are our goals. These are our hurdles. These are our potential problems. What if this happens? What if that happens? Knowing you have a plan, not just in your head, but actually written down, is a really, really effective way to help you be more confident. And you just cited an article that says, 42% are more successful. And I think a big part of being more successful is being more confident because it's written down. It doesn't mean that you can write down a plan in your first year of retirement and it works forever. It just means you have a plan. But then if you have either yourself and your spouse or your partner or whatever, or a financial advisor, if you have a plan and you can have a trusted person to help you stick to it and adjust it and moving forward, the confidence is really the key. You know what you have to do, but you also know what the potential problems are. But you have a solution or a plan for the problem moving forward. I'm not great with sports analogies and stuff like that person, but it doesn't matter the sport. You don't go out on the field without a plan. And you don't go on the field. You got a game plan, but then you also have contingencies for the plan. If that plan doesn't work, but it's written down, and you know what it is ahead of time, instead of being surprised and going, what am I going to do now? I didn't take the time to think about this. So yeah, gathering your thoughts, writing them down, having a plan, being willing to adjust that plan when needed, I think is critical, being successful in retirement.
And I like that you're so OG that there's no Post-its involved. It's a legal pad.
Yeah, I like the legal pads. Not, Kristen, I know you're going to make fun, not the big giant lines, and I don't have a giant pencil. I've actually got the small lines, and the legal pads are, longer, and I got the college rules. I use pens.
I use pencil because if I make a mistake, then I can adjust the goals, the task, and things like that.
Things have evolved. We all had legal pads, and we had Post-it notes, and we had planners.
Day timers.
My whole schedule is on a day timer. That's what I live by. And if I had to figure out what did I say or what did I do a year ago, I'd be flipping through pages. Now it's a computer, now it's a smartphone, now it's all of that. But it's very hard to write down your financial plan in your smartphone. It's easier to gather your thoughts, maybe get them down on paper like I do, maybe not, whatever your process is. But if you gather those thoughts, you put them down, you contemplate them, you come up with a plan and then contingencies for that plan, you're going to be a lot more confident. And that's why people are more successful, in my opinion, when it comes to people that will take the time to do that.
916-545-6000. 916-545-6000. I like turning to someone who knows what they're doing, has the education to do it, the licensing to do it, and can take the stress off of me. If that's you, take advantage of that comprehensive financial plan. No charge at all from Mike and the team at Talon Wealth. 916-545-6000. 916-545-6000. You can schedule that online, guardingyournestegg.com. By the way, it's a $1,500 value. That way, you know if you've saved enough to retire comfortably, prepared for the unknowns, and know how much you can spend without running out of money. We're going to share a real from a Guarding Your Nest Egg listener that you may be taking action or the lack thereof, and go through some year-end tax planning tips. That's next on Guarding Your Nest Egg with Mike Lester.
Choirs will be singing.
Want to know more, but not sure you're ready to take the next step? Get to know Mike and the other Talon Wealth fiduciaries anytime at guardingyournestegg.com.
Hey, there's John McGinnis here. Let's think about this for a moment. What is a true fiduciary? Well, Mike Lester is the founder of Talon Wealth, and he believes the definition is quite simple. A true fiduciary is someone who does not sell products. Some of those products could be mutual funds, annuities, or even real estate investment trusts. Mike says a true fiduciary shouldn't get paid before their client does. And that absolutely makes sense. Mike is a true fiduciary who's passionate about those near and in retirement being aware of all your retirement options and making sure you receive the full value you're paying for. Every penny counts in retirement. So reach out for a free comprehensive financial plan to see if there are better options available that you may not be aware of. Call them at 916-545-6000, 916-545-6000. By the way, this process also reveals if you saved enough to retire comfortably. So connect and schedule now at guardingyournestegg.com.
Advisory services through Talon Private Wealth, an SEC-registered investment advisor. John McGinnis was compensated for this message and is not a client of Talon Private Wealth, LLC, California license 0N00828.
Heard the Guarding Your Nest Egg podcast? Search, subscribe, and listen on your favorite podcast platform today. Or listen now at guardingyournestegg.com. Now, back to Mike and Kristen.
Yes, he is. And the day after Thanksgiving certainly sees a lot of shoppers, but according to Good Housekeeping, it's not the busiest shopping day of the year. I guess we're a country of procrastinators because the most hectic days are actually the Friday and Saturday before Christmas. And we all know that there's a lot more to Christmas than giving and receiving gifts. And we wish you a Merry Christmas as we celebrate the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and celebrate the real reason for this season. Our advisors at Talon Wealth, all year long, they are sitting down with people like you, near and in retirement, that have questions, that want to make sure they can retire comfortably. And one of them recently sat down with a very sweet couple in their early 70s Their monthly expenses are about $6,000, and between their Social Security income and him still working part-time because he enjoys what he does, they have no problem with their current budget, according to our advisor. However, the wife inherited about $650,000 in a trust account held with one of the nationally known investment firms. Now, the main reason that they reached out to Talon Wealth is when she called the current firm and found out that they don't seem to make changes to the account she inherited regardless of the climate. She got a little frustrated. So she heard the radio show and heard about active wealth management. And,
what is that?
Yeah, apparently these other people don't know what it is. I'm not going to say the name of the company, but
Sure.
no wonder she's frustrated. That's $650,000 that's just sitting there.
I hate to say that's pretty typical, Kristen. It's a phone call that we get all the time. So there's a perception. And the perception, like their perception, and a lot of our listeners' perception, when they're working with, maybe it's a large firm, or maybe it's even an advisor who says they do active management, but they don't really see any changes in the portfolio. And this has been a really common theme. And there are a lot of people out there that felt like they're paying for financial advice, they're paying for active management, and after paying for it, the advice they get is, and a lot of times it's not even a phone call right to them. They call the advisor or the firm. They say, well, hey, listen, you're diversified. Don't worry, just hang in there. And there's something that I think concerns me maybe even a little more in this situation because I've seen it before. So, you know, his wife inherited about $650,000 in a trust account. It's held at, again, one of the nationally known firms. If we said it, everybody would know the name.
That's not how you go to a
look at the age difference between her parents and her. She's inherited it. That's a very different investment objective. Let's just say that her parents are, let's say they passed away at 95, and let's just say they're 70. If you're 95 and getting closer to passing away, you don't really need much growth in your portfolio. You can be very, very conservative. Now, if you're 70 and you're looking at...
Thank you. I will never live there.